Okay, today we're going to look at 3.2, which is a relatively short section, and it involves two things involving statistics. One is called the trimmed mean, and you can see the definition on your screen, and there's also the weighted mean. And to illustrate both of them, I am again going to look at an example. And the first example refers to quilt work, or quill work, pardon me, and beadwork. And Lois is making these purses that have beadwork on them, and she kept track of the hours she spent. And you can see the hours range from 3 all the way up to 37, and when you add them all together, you find that the total number of hours is 99. Divide by 10, get an average of 9.9 hours per purse. If we wanted to find the trimmed mean, the definition is that you are going to disregard or get rid of an equal number of values from the low part of the statistics and the high part. So in this case, I decided to trim off the lowest score, which was 3, and the highest score, which was 37. So now instead of having 10 different hours spent, I now have 8. So when I added them together, I got 59 and ended up with 7.4. So when you look at the data, the really big question is, which one is a better indicator of the average time she would spend on a purse? Is it 9.9 or is it 7.4? And what that's related to is outliers. I would say that the 37 and even the 3 to a certain extent are what are called outliers, which means that they are different, significantly different from the other pieces of data. And if you were to graph that, you would see there would be 1 point way off, and that would definitely be 37. So by trimming the data, I think we get a better, more accurate average. So that's the trimmed mean, meaning average. There's also weighted averages, and this is related to marks. This is Francois. He has different marks on an assignment and a quiz and a presentation, but his grade is weighted, which means that certain things are worth more. So how do we figure out a final grade if we have these different values? So let's talk about that. Okay, each written assignment is worth 5%. So out of 5, if we take 8 out of 10 and divide it by 2, we got really 4 out of 5. And the quizzes are out of 10. 7 out of 10 is 7 out of 10. Plus, the presentation is worth 20% of the grade. And on that, you got 7.5. So if you double that, that's 15 out of 20. The presentation was 20%, and the final exam was worth 50% of the grade. And on the final exam, you got 82. Divide that by 2, that's 41 out of 50. But I now have to take into consideration these two. Okay, so now when I look at my quizzes, I'm going to have to change my mark, because total really is 17 out of 20, and the quizzes were out of 10, so if I divide 17 by 2, that's 8.5 out of 10, so that mark goes up. And if I look at my written assignment there and the second written assignment, they would average to 8.5 out of 10, and 8.5 divided by 2 is 4.25, and we can go to 2 decimal places, I guess. So now when we figure out the total grade, there's a problem here, isn't there? 70, 85%. I'm missing 15%. Well, let's just add them all up and we'll figure out the percent from there. So 4.25 plus 8.5 is 12.75, 27.75, 68.75. And that's out of, as I said before, 5 plus 10 is 15, plus 20 is 35. That's out of 85. So if you found that percent, that would actually be the grade in the class. Nevertheless, either way, you can clearly see that certain things are worth more than others, and you see that in all your classes, as it is with this class, if you look back on your class outline. So that's it. Here's your assignment for this unit. And you can see there's a few definitions that were on your original, or the front page of this lesson. And make sure you get the math on the job done, as well as the roots of math for this unit at some point, and get the check done, and then keep on moving ahead.